Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Kevin here, and I was recently invited to Tokyo, Japan as part of Fujifilm's latest X Summit to celebrate the launch of the brand new Fujifilm X-T5. During the trip, I was lucky enough to be invited to the Fujifilm Factory in Sendai to spend some time with the factory managers, workers and engineers. Now, primarily I'll share this content over the coming weeks on the podcast that I host with my good friend Neil James. I'll link to this above. And you can start listening to it from the episodes that went live this week on the 2nd of November 2022. I didn't get a chance to shoot a wedding with the new Fujifilm X-T5, so I don't feel qualified enough to give you a full review. However, what I can tell you is that, in my opinion, what everybody who loves the XT range has hoped for is in the X-T5. The Fujifilm X-T5 is what Fujifilm are coining a photography first camera, and to that end they've brought back the tilt screen that we saw in the X-T3. It does of course use the new super 40 megapixel sensor, has built-in IBIS, the bigger battery, all of those good things, can shoot 6.2K in video, and it is smaller than the X-T4 at least. So yes, very much going back to its roots, I believe. Now, the main part of my trip was the visit to the Sendai factory. So after a little bit of lunch, we jumped on the train and headed up 300 kilometers or so north in Japan to the factory, where the factory managers and the staff and the engineers welcomed Andreas, myself and Mark to the factory. And we were the first guests that they'd had since the pandemic, as far as I'm aware. They were very gracious with their time, and they took us around the lens production lines and the X100S production lines. And much of the audio recording will be in the podcast over the coming weeks. However, what I can tell you here, and what I hope you can see from some of the small amount of pictures that we were allowed to take, is that the quality control and the attention to detail is actually quite insane. So there's no robotic arms, there's no automated conveyor belts or anything like that. Everything is done by hand, checked and checked and checked again. Everything is accountable, all via the serial number tracking. And ultimately, even the jigs the engineers make there in Sendai, the machines that are used to create the parts and for the optical image stabilization, balancing, etc., all of those things are made in one place, and then they are hand delivered and taken to other factories if that's so necessary, and installed by those same engineers. I really enjoyed the trip, and I'm obviously very, very grateful to Fujifilm in Tokyo and Fujifilm UK for enabling me to go on the factory tour. It was my fifth trip, I think, to Fujifilm over my time as an ambassador. As you know, my time as an ambassador will end at the end of 2022 for understandable reasons and decisions that Fujifilm UK have made. However, my association with Fujifilm, I hope, will continue. I certainly aim to be using their cameras for a very long time, because I have got almost all of them and invested a lot of money into them. So my love affair with Fujifilm will continue, and I will still be hopefully trying to bring you content as the channel moves forward. For now, enjoy some more images taken on the X-T5, and I shall see you next time.